Everybody. Just good morning to everybody. We're so excited you're here. Special guest this morning. I don't know what else to say, James and Becky. We've known and watched them for several years. But before we get to them, I want to think we need to go over and mention our event coming up, the corporate national event for North America in Salt Lake City. I believe it's the 22nd, 23rd. And Todd said go over the schedule. Unfortunately, I don't have the schedule directly in front of me, so I may have to let him tell me the schedule directly, what he wants to go over. I'm like, I get a text from Todd 3 minutes before we start. Okay, go over this. I'm like, okay, great. I don't have that written down, but we start on, I know we begin on Friday morning, and registrations Friday morning, I believe at 10 o'clock on Friday morning. There's going to be, and then Friday afternoon, and then Saturday all day. I don't know. It's going to be an action-packed day. I mean, this convention will be very unique. I think we've all talked about ourselves. I mean, bringing a group and family members together. Coach Palmer and I talked about this too, is about the number. It's just going to be a different type of event. I'm excited about it as well. I'm going to come in early just so I can get prepared for it. And but it's going to be an incredible event for all of us. I mean, I think we started out with just in some of us we're starting out just in the RX family. Then we've got the Limu family that joined us, and then we've got the NewAge family. So I mean, it's just going to be interesting watching all the cultures and everybody coming together over Friday and Saturday. But then Saturday night, I don't know the theme. Todd, you may know the theme there, but there's going to be, I always love the parties. I mean, I hate to say it, but I can tell you about the Friday day. We're going to have some great speakers, and Saturday you'll get to hear from some of the corporate executives. And I know Tim Sells will speak, Coach Rowland and Coach Palmer are both speaking. But then we get the party on Saturday night, and some of the parties can be, they've been pretty wild. I say wild, they're just fun. They're just really, they're great. They're interesting. They have themes behind them, and I'm just looking forward to it. I know that a lot of people are going to be there, and obviously some of you folks from Canada, we're going to miss you because we know that the travel restrictions for Canada are still a problem, but we're going to be with you with heart and spirit that you're there with us too. So with that, Todd.
And Chris, yeah, we need to plug in. Brent's put out a itinerary, so it's out there on Facebook, but just know that many of us will be in town starting on that Wednesday forward. Some are even coming in earlier. So, remember the host hotel for us is the Little America. You don't have to stay there, but we're just going to be in those lobbies a lot. There is going to be a level up get together on Friday night from 8 to 11. We have a disc jockey rented. I think we've ordered a couple $1,000s worth of awards. Some of you guys that have just done amazing will get your reward there in Utah on that Friday night. And then on Sunday morning, we're also going to have a brunch get together at 10 a.m. Again, everybody invited. You're just going to get together back in the Little America lobby that morning for questions and answers. And then for those that are staying over, we'll all Uber up to Park City, and there's going to be a big hike in Park City Sunday afternoon. I know everybody won't be able to do that, but just for the ones that will be there, that's on the itinerary. Brent, what did I miss there?
No, that was perfect, Coach. One of the things, like Coach Rowland said, we're going to be there early. So one of the things we want to do is have something going on all the time, because these events, networking, especially with where our company is right now. Todd, the only thing that I see we're also going to have, and I will post this in NewAge Nation, MOA Challenge, on Level Up Life. I'll post the agenda. But we're also, since in honor of everybody that's out there walking and running and drinking their water and all that good stuff, I know myself, I know Coach Rowland, I know Chris Doyle and Tracy Turnberg, a lot of leaders. We're going to do a walk. Some people's going to do a run on Friday morning. So if you're in town Friday morning, I think it's at 8 a.m. We're going to go out and do a run there together outside of the Little America, and just again, photo op time, taking pictures, using that. So we're just going to do a lot of things around this corporate event to engage everybody. I tell you, I'm very excited. Cannot wait to get there.
I know that we're all excited, and when you get down to it, let's face it, it's the meetings outside the meetings that sometimes are the most, at least after 20 years of network marketing for me, 20 years full-time in this industry, much as I learned in the big events, it's the one-on-one time in the lobbies in the hall. That's why we're trying to make sure we've got so many things set up for people to get to. And a lot of this is to kind of learn the families. I mean, we've got a lot of families come together, like you mentioned, Tracy Turnberg and the people from the Noni family that we hadn't met yet. We want to make sure that we open, it reminds me, Coach Palmer, of a couple of years ago when there was a group I was meeting at Salt Lake City from the company that we were trying to learn how to pronounce, Limu. Coach Rowland will still get it wrong, but that's okay. So does it not remind you of that? I mean, honestly, we kind of.
I'll tell you this, and that's a great point, Chris. When we came over, and that event was the event that really connected us. I mean, getting there, seeing the culture, seeing the people. I mean, I had known Coach Rowland for several years, but I didn't know anyone else. And so when I brought, we brought the team there, and they got around to the people, and they just realized, man, these people are just like us. I mean, they're birds of a feather flock together. And when you can get that culture, that group of people together that just see, hey, man, everybody's just alike in this thing, even though we're in different states, different parts of the world. That's the way this event will be. One of the things that I love about NewAge is no matter where I go, no matter the people I talk to in any company, man, the culture here is just, I say this all the time. We got the best people in the world inside of this company. And events like this is where you really see it. The time out in the hotel lobby, the time having brunch, like just getting to know people, like that's where you walk away and go, man, I want to spend the rest of my life with people like this.
And that's exactly what I wanted to point out. And we're all excited about getting there. So if you haven't gotten your ticket, I don't know if it's sold out yet. I know they're going to cut it off because they have to have their number. So
yeah, I think maybe Monday is going to be the cutoff, Chris. They're trying to finalize things out. So make sure you send that through your team. I don't even think I've purchased mine yet. I'm just a procrastinator. So I got to get mine purchased today. But Chris, I'm just so excited about our guest this morning. I mean, I've watched this couple. They live the life that every kid dreams of. But somewhere along the way, that dream gets crushed into, for many people, occupations or jobs that really do nothing more than pay bills, or small businesses that strap their life down because they've got employees not showing up, or just a headache all the time. All small business owners know what I'm talking about. And that's not saying people don't have great success outside of our industry, because they do. I never mean that. But there is a large portion of people in the greatest country to ever exist on earth that don't live out their dreams. They just live, and they do it, from Friday to Friday, or from paycheck to paycheck, and some do it at a higher level than others, but it's still a churn. This couple has never had a job, Chris. They started in college, and they've lived on residual income. And Chris, we're going to dig deep. This is not going to be as much about how to as just what was in their mind. Like, can you start with going back right now, James and Becky, like when you were 17 or 18 years old and you got started, what compelled you as an 18-year-old to do it?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, it's a great honor to be on this line with everyone. Thanks for the invitation. We've been watching everyone's level up experiences, and we get fired up from you guys, And one thing I'd like to say before we get started today is I'm big on participation. So if things resonate with you, I'd love for you all to make fire in the chats, but drop a 1 if you're ready to have a lot of fun today. All right, drop a 1 in the chat if you're ready to have a lot of fun today. It's going to help us to be able to deliver as well too. But what got us started, to answer your question, was honestly, never thought of business, never thought about network marketing. Our parents are both traditional Asian people, and stereotypes are funny because sometimes they're really true. So they're both scientists, we're immigrants from over there, and we were both going to UC Berkeley studying biology. No surprises there. And never even thought about anything like this. In fact, when I first saw network marketing, I'm sure with a lot of you as well too, you might have thought certain things. In fact, Todd, I was the most skeptical. I thought it was a straight pyramid scheme. I thought it was the stupidest thing in the world, if I could use that word right there. I thought it was the lower class type of work, to be quite honest. And it's just because of so many misperceptions. And we're living in a day and age now that it's just such a beautiful industry because COVID happened, of course, and everyone has to go online and it's great. But what got me started, to be honest, was the people that we met. And what I just couldn't shake was I saw people that were living their dreams. I saw people that were good people, right? Like I go on this line and look at Todd and I look at Chris and I look at Brent and all the other leaders. And it's like, you cannot have better character and integrity and leadership than the people like this. So what fascinated me was really the types of people that we could surround ourselves with, because like what you're saying, Todd, there's a lot of people that can be successful in a career, but there's a lot of people that make a lot of money, but they don't have fulfillment and joy in their life. And Tony Robbins says that's life's greatest failure is achievement without fulfillment. And that's what I saw here. So we were just like, we just want to get around the fire, Todd. So that's what got us involved.
It's funny you say that, James, because you said you did, it's kind of like you felt like there was some kind of a scheme. I came from the conventional business world, and that was exactly my sentiment when I didn't want to be there. And yet I've been full-time in the industry, and I can't even imagine going back to what I would call conventional business again. So take us through your journey. I mean, you started so young.
Yeah.
I mean, what changed? I mean, you say that you was around the people. Go ahead, Todd.
And one thing, if I understand the story right, you and Becky met in the industry. Is that correct? Y'all were kind of met in, or
yeah. So
yeah, tell us everything.
We met actually in college, and I was James's second recruit in the industry. So we were just classmates, and we had maybe one class together that met once a week. So we weren't very close friends. We just knew of each other in the circle, and he invited me to a presentation. I got started on the same day, and we were just business partners for 4 years before we started dating and got married.
Yeah. So you can find your mate here if you haven't already, so definitely worth it.
I wasn't aware of that part of the story. I missed that. That's great.
So learn the skills of inviting. Yeah, Brent.
I've got a question too. There's so many thoughts running through my head. So in college, sometimes I'm just thinking right now, sometimes I'm going to put myself under the bus. I like characterize people like, they don't have enough credibility. It's probably not for them. You're in college. I mean, how much credibility can a human have when they're in college and they're broke and they're so tell me a little bit about that. Like you're in college. So, what was it like for you going out and prospecting, like talking to people I mean, it's just, I'm thinking about myself. You probably had more credibility in college than I did, but I had very little credibility.
It was an interesting journey because not only were we young, but if you met me in the beginning, Brent, I was the shyest person in the world. Hey, if anyone here is introverted, drop a 2 in the chat. If you're shy, you're introverted, would love to see who's introverted with me as well too. And when I say introverted, I mean so introverted to the point that I couldn't even order my own food at a restaurant, Brent. Like if you were in a restaurant together, I'd be like, bro, do it for me type of thing. So what I learned was really the skill sets. And the skill set, especially in the beginning, that was the biggest thing for me, was learning how to do a good invitation and learning how to leverage the reputation of someone else. When I got Becky started, it wasn't because of me, for sure. Like no one would get started with James Zheng, 19 years old, broke and everything. But what I got really good at was leveraging the people that I was working with. And it was a legitimate excitement. It was this feeling of, man, I know we have this good opportunity, but there's someone that you got to meet. When I look at Brent and I look at Todd and Chris and many of the leaders on this line, Like, that's how I feel. It's like to have this opportunity to just connect with other people. The saying is, don't shoot them. They don't shoot the messenger. So I was just a good messenger, and Becky came on board, for example, and then she got trained by our mentors, and all of a sudden all of us are growing together. But that was a big thing as I grew my own reputation.
So can I ask, can we get specific there? Because
Yeah.
I really think that's maybe the number one thing to learn in our industry is talk to us about how you would set that appointment, and then who you would call in, how you would call them in. Was it at a coffee shop? I mean, obviously technology's moved on now, so you might do Zoom, but will you give us some exacts there? How did you learn how to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So very simple is just being very keen on listening to people's wants, listening to people's hot buttons, as we call it. And Becky, I'll give you an example. This was me being very scared to talk to people. I blew through my hot market, like many of us probably did. I butchered it. I tried to vomit the presentation on them. They didn't get it. So I had to, and I didn't have any friends. So I had to learn how to make some new friends. So in class, you know, or wherever that we're at, just starting to reach out and connect. So with Becky, I started to connect, and I knew that she was in college, and I was thinking, how could this benefit her? Because in business, it's all about helping other people. So the approach was, the hot button was maybe some work experience, something flexible, something fun, something that could make some money. So the invitation was simple, Todd. It was just, hey, Becky, I know you're a health major, and I'm curious if I could show you some part-time work in the health industry, get some experience, make some money. Would you be interested in learning more? The one biggest skill I'd say that we've had for over a decade that paid us the most is a simple phrase, if I, would you? And in fact, if you're hearing that resonates, I want you to type that in the chat. If I, would you? The biggest thing that I've seen, it's the simplest question because it makes the prospect actually answer rather than trying to be like, oh, you need this. Are you down? Like, it's too much pressure. So after that, Todd, they're like, yeah, I'm interested in learning more. And before, it's so back of the day, so it was coffee shop. Literally, we met at a sushi restaurant with my mentor, and he did the presentation. Now it's so simple. Now, I mean, and you have your own systems. Everyone here, follow your upline system. Whatever they say to do, just do that. But now I shoot out videos and recordings. They're the experts, pretty much. And then I get them into a three-way conversation. So what I'd be doing now is, hey, are you interested? Becky would be like, yeah, I'm interested. Like, can I connect you to one of my coaches? Or can I connect you with the person that's been helping me? And in today's day and age, that'd be a three-way text or a three-way messenger, or maybe it's a three-way call, it's a three-way presentation. And then this is what I learned from a great trainer, is to be a geranium. Be a geranium. What a geranium when you're new. Be a geranium means don't talk anymore. You know, I just let the expert do all the talking. I'm like, here's someone that knows what they're doing. I'm excited, of course, but just let the expert do what they need to do best because they know what's going on. And then later on, of course, I can bring in the emotional support and the friend side of things, but I just let the expert do what they need to do.
So you said, you send them a video, I'm assuming a pre-recorded video that you guys have, and then you said messenger, text, or three-way phone call. Can you give us a little bit more on that? Like,
yeah, most definitely.
Explain how you do that.
Absolutely. So if I'm brand new, I do the invitation. That's my job because people, and it's like a three-way edification triangle. If you guys have ever seen that before, there's you, and then there's the prospect, and then there's the expert. All right. So what I'll do is you and the prospect, we have trust. So when I do the invitation, they're like, yeah, I'm interested in learning more. Perfect. Right away, what I would do, especially when I'm brand new, is edify the expert. So let's say my upline leader were Brent. I would just be like, hey, Becky, if you're interested in learning more, can I connect you to a three-way message with one of my coaches? This person, I'll edify him a little bit. I'll talk him up. You don't have to talk Brent up much because he's already so amazing, you know, just be like, I gotta introduce you to someone though. And this is a legitimate, and I think the big thing here is just being authentic. Like, I'm sure all of us here, if you work with Brent, you know how amazing of a person and leader that he is. So just be honest. How do you feel? This individual, he's one of the best leaders that I've ever met, a heart of a giant, and I'd love to connect you in a three-way message with him so he can explain more. Would you be okay with that? So always answer with a question. And more than likely, Becky would be like, sure. And then boom, three-way text or messenger, whatever type of communication channel is best for you guys, do that. And then from there, Brent's job is basically give a presentation, whether that's a recording, whether that's a live presentation, whatever modality of the presentation that it is. Now what we do is we literally just have a presentation like recorded. So the main upline, the main expert will just be like, hey, nice to meet you, Becky. Great to connect. If you're interested in learning more, here's a 10-minute video. Here's a 15-minute video. When can you watch that by? After they watch it, then we answer questions.
So let me ask you, let's go back just a little bit, because so that's a piece of the how-to, but even more than important than that is another thing you mentioned, and that was that you entered at a certain level. You called it introvert. I think if we look out here, we all enter this industry with different skill sets. And I would say 8 in 10 probably enter with a skill set that's not up to speed to really be highly successful. It has to be developed. So talk to me how Becky, you chime in too, how y'all developed that. I mean, I remember driving down the road listening to Amway tapes, and then YouTube came about, and now then I don't if my radio works in my truck. I just listen to YouTube self-help videos 24/7 driving. What did y'all do? Where did you get that info to get tough? I call it a spine of steel, where people don't bother you anymore. How do you do that?
I think the biggest thing that really helped me, and some of you may be able to relate on this line, is especially being a girl, like I don't have thick skin. Like I don't like rejections. I don't like people saying no to me. I think no one likes that, right? Even if we do have thick skin and we've developed that in the industry, no one like being rejected to, right? I think there is this stat that people rather die than public speak. Why? Because they're thinking about how people will view them, right? People they're thinking about how people see them, and they might feel rejected if they are not getting certain resonance with the audience and whatnot. And one thing that really helped me since the very beginning, I started this industry when I was 20. I had just turned 20. And I remember I was just so impressed by my mentors in trainings. And I just told myself, I just need to be immersed in the organization, immersed in the training, immersed. So James and I showed up to literally everything. I think in the past 10, 13 years, we probably missed less than 10 Saturday trainings. This training, we would not miss, we
moved our wedding.
Yeah, we literally did our wedding on a Sunday. So we would not miss Saturday trainings. It's like church for us, because we know throughout the week, you might be getting, no's from your friends, or negativity from your family, or maybe you're up for a promotion and you failed, right? There's a lot of things that are pulling us down 24/7. And sometimes it has nothing to do with the business. Maybe your dog got sick, or just circumstances happen in life, right? And there's a lot of negativity. And what really kept me in the game literally over a decade now, and we've been consistent, is because of the environment. It's because when we're down, there's other people that are winning, that are inspiring us in the environment. But if you hide in your own corner, you hide at home, things are not going to get better by yourself. So one thing that early on I realized is I need help. I can't do this all by myself. So I need my mentors. I need my peers. I need my colleagues to be able to pull me up when I'm down, So I was just very open in and I express myself when I'm sad, when I'm, losing hope, when I feel like the business is I'm kind of stuck, I just told my upline about it, and then they helped me, right? But you have to keep on showing up, and that's the biggest thing. And honestly, for all of you that are here, obviously I'm preaching to the choir, but showing up, it's 80% of the job. This business is a marathon, not a sprint. You might be seeing someone that's advancing super quickly, and James and I are not fast growers, but we're just consistent, so it's just about finishing finishing, like crossing the finish line. It's about whoever, it's about staying power. You know, it's like whoever stays in the game longest, through osmosis, you will learn the skills. You know, you're only going to suck so much, right? So you just keep on doing it, keep on plugging the training, keep on learning, keep on growing and absorbing. Eventually you'll learn the skills. And one day you're going to come across a prospect and you're going to say things that impress yourself. You're going to be like, wow, that sounded really good. I can actually handle that objections now. You know, so just plugging in, I think it's personally my biggest, the biggest reason why, like, it really helped me with my mindset and skill set and just staying in the game.
When I hear you talk, it's like, it amazes me because each time you talk to a leader, it doesn't, and we have not had you on as guests before, but other leaders will say, got to plug in, you got to stay focused, you're going to learn as you go. And I remember something Todd Rowland said to me years ago, because I felt like I sucked so bad at this business. I mean, I felt like I just sucked, but then some good things began to happen. And because of what you just said, you met some right people. And then some good things begin to happen and you were prepared for those moments. And would that be an accurate statement? You
Absolutely.
kind of were more prepared?
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
They say that luck is an acronym. Luck is labor upon correct knowledge. You know what the biggest thing that I got from these trainings at the beginning? These little one-liners. Because philosophies are the set of the sails, what Jim Rohn says, right? But these are so key and they like take root. But luck is labor upon correct knowledge. When proper preparation meets opportunity, that is luck. And what that means is all these trainings, one nugget, 3 nuggets, these little things that are just, they're in your soul and in your spirit. And just like what you're saying, Chris, there's that opportunity that comes because it's not here that you're going to build your business necessarily. This is where you get trained and refined so that when you're out there in the world, you meet a prospect randomly, you're like, boom, that saying came to mind in the right time at the right place. And there's that opportunity.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the things these coaches would always talk about. Everybody wants to be on the team on Friday night, but they forget about the weight rooms in the summertime and they forget about the practice to get ready for the Friday nights as the high school coaches, but it makes such a difference. Coach Palmer, you want to come back?
I'm sitting here smiling because this profession is, you know, a lot like any other profession in the way to the top is consistency. And I just think back, I mean, you started this at college, you openly go, you know what, we're not rocket ship growers. We just are consistent. And I know me and Todd and me and Chris talked about this a lot, but that is the key here. You know, it's a profession, and maybe you can elaborate on this a little bit, James and Becky. And by the way, I love y'all's heart. I love your leadership style. I watch you and I'm like, man, just rock solid leaders. But in your time in the industry, just as well as any industry of being an entrepreneur, there's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be battles. There's going to be days you question whether or not you chose the right profession. You got those mental talks you're having with yourself. Can you speak on that? Because you two have been such a consistent measure. You're not two that you just point to and go, oh, they got in and in 6 months they were at the top 10 ranks in the company. No, they got in and consistently grew a business that today they're getting to live a kind of a dream lifestyle that most people, if they knew how your life was day to day, it's a dream come true. But can you elaborate on how you work through those difficult moments?
It's probably the biggest test of your dream. And for every single dream, there's going to be a test. And I think we've all been through tests and everything. I think one of the early philosophies was just how to like shift that thought, because behind every blessing, there's a testing, is the saying, right? And we don't want that to happen, but that's just how life is. God just makes it that way, right? We're not here to just live life and just enjoy everything. Exactly. We're here to be pruned so our character gets stronger. And in business, it's going to get that. You know, we had our consistent growth. We got to a great place in our business. And everyone here, you're going to lose teammates at some point. You're going to have prospects say no to you. You're going to have negative things happen in your life and everything. And they're all different in their own right. But we had a major soul grinding experience that wouldn't wish upon it for anyone, but it was the best thing to ever happen. Because what happened was based in 2017, and I think a lot of us, you might be going through this right now. There's a lot of flux. There's a lot of change. There's a lot of stuff going on, right? Hey, let's be real. Drop a 10 in the chat if you've been a little frustrated by all the changes going on in the last couple months. If we could be real with each other, like drop a 10.
Oh, it's about to blow up now.
I know, exactly. Right? Let's just be real with you, right? There's a lot of stuff going on. With change comes growing pains, and 2017 for us, there was a big change in the company. It changed up our whole game to the point that, to be honest, and it wasn't because of the change, it was because we didn't know how to react to the change in time. Perfect storm happened. Our business plummeted by 50%. We were living the life. We had the $1 million house. She had a Bentley, I had an R8, like we had all these cool things going on. And all of a sudden, it felt like the rug was pulled up underneath us and everything just started plummeting. And it's kind of like everything we knew to be true was just gone just like that. And that was a really big test, Brent. And what it comes down to is at the bottom of the bottom is realizing, all right, well, what am I doing this for really? What am I doing this for really? What is this industry capable of? And we realized it wasn't the industry's fault. Network marketing is beautiful. There's no profession like this on the planet. We start to think, Brent, like, what are other options? Because we're all smart people on this line. You're all hardworking people on this line. We can get a job. We can do another business. We can do whatever else that we want, but there's nothing like what network marketing can do for not just yourself and your family, but let's talk about what it can do for other people as well too. The transformation, the impact, that ability to have someone come up to you and say, you changed my life. Like there's nothing like that in the world. So the dream was still there. It was just a different circumstance. And we started to realize, how do you get out of that? Focus on serving other people. Focus on serving other people. It's not about you. It's about other people. And slowly but surely that started to change things around.
James, maybe that's the most powerful thing that's been said this morning, because the road to success is full of ups and downs. We've all had him on here. When I met Chris the first time, he had lost it's a really neat story to tell now that he lost $1 million blue jean company. That's how I ended up in network marketing with me. But at that time frame, the dude was reeling. I mean, reeling in life, just hurting. Prior to coming to this company, I lost the company and I was reeling. I mean, my whole lifestyle that I had created over a while, it was evaporated. In Arkansas, I watched Jane Boland, Aaron Decker, Deanna Brownlow, all advanced by title. I think Aaron went chairperson 3, Deanna went president, Jane Boland went chairperson. I can't remember them all, but I know they. But what the audience sees is the advancement. What I've seen is their consistent effort over time and not getting off the train on a bad day. They take the blow and they keep going. And in our lives, that has nothing to do with network marketing. There are really great football coaches, which is my trade. They get fired. They have a bad run and then they become great again. I mean, it's in every industry. So, I mean, talk to us just a little bit more about, just the details, but like when you hit bottom,
yep.
What you talked about pouring back into people, but like what pulled you off a bottom? Because I think everybody will face that. And that moment is the difference between being really successful in our industry down the road and going back to a normal life, like forgetting what you ever started for.
Yeah. Everything on that.
There's a lot.
Fire away, Becky.
I think, it was definitely difficult, but it's interesting because I feel like God's not going to put you through a situation if he's not going to help you get through it, and one thing, we're very spiritual people. And I feel like at the moment, I remember James looking at me and we were actually on the partner council and in Utah, it was in a room of people that are extremely successful, and that's the year where we had the worst year ever. And we just felt like we didn't belong. It's that feeling of like, man, like people don't know what's actually happening and we don't belong here. And I remember we just like broke down in front of Ian Chandler. I think Riley was there as well. And some of our ARCS founders. And I remember just like, what can we do? And just having that type of support there really, and we didn't come up with a solution, right? Because you didn't get there overnight. You're not going to come up with a solution overnight. But I think it was just the comfort of knowing someone is there to help you and back you up. And when we went back to the hotel room, I remember James was like he was like literally sobbing, and I've never seen him cry like that. Like he's usually very calm and super optimistic. Like I'm more of the pessimistic type of person, and he's like usually super optimistic. And I remember so clearly he was like, he fell asleep, and I just had this overwhelming sense of peace that came to me. I really feel like the Holy Spirit, and I just felt like everything's gonna be okay. Like we're gonna learn something through this, and like, what are you trying to teach me, God? Like, what do you want me to learn? Like, how is this gonna be a story later on to impact other people? And I remember literally journaling that and like writing everything down. And when we came back home, I just had all these ideas to get us, at the time it was like huge, like we were in like $100,000 of a consumer debt. And it was just like really hard financially. We've never experienced that before. And I was having all these ideas on like, how to like, get rid of stuff and like, and then what really helped, I feel, was just letting him know that like we're going to get through this. Let's just take one day at a time, as long as we're focused on the right things. And instead of focusing on making money in our business, let's focus on serving our people, because that's what we started this business for. If we're just here to make money, we can make money in a lot of ways, right? Like we don't have to do this business, but it's really that impact and that relationship. And then he started getting to work on that, and things started falling into place. And I feel like a lot of things you can't really plan for, but you have to trust and you have to have faith that it's going to work out, but your focus has to be in the right place, which is serving your people, that's like kind of like what I remember, like the most, I guess, like the part that really resonated with me. And I constantly remind myself, because, when things are going well, you tend to not think that way, right? When things are going well, you tend to be like, oh, I don't need God. I don't need faith, or like, I got this because I'm a badass. Like you start giving yourself all the credit. And then, so that moment, I think really constantly reminds me, when things are going really well, constantly reminding myself, like, I'm really here just to serve other people, and the blessings are meant to be an inspiration for other people. And I can't get cocky, and I can't, so I think it's just like a good reminder of what happened, and to constantly focus on the right things.
I want to add something to that.
Wow.
Because what they talked about serving and helping other people, one of the things that separates what we do in our industry, and you just said about going into other business, because that's what Todd mentioned. I was in the other business. I had 400 plus employees, and it was never that way. They work hard enough to keep me from firing them, and I pay them enough to keep them from quitting. And I thought they liked me, and the truth was they hated me. And so what I love about what we do now is the relationship. I've heard Jeff Yates say that. What is so special about our industry? Yes, residual income. Yes, it does so much. But the relationships that you develop, and the strange part to add to this is the relationships that are not working, they take care of themselves, because they leave your business, they go somewhere else. And that sounds sad, but I love what, it's hard I can't quit. I slow down. I'm older than everybody else here. I'm the old man in this group. So, but you miss, I don't know if I could get away from what you just said, that relationship that you develop with people, helping them. What is it? Zig Ziglar always says, help people get what they want, and then you're going to get what you want. But that is one of the big things. I just wanted to add, I'm writing notes. Here I am, been doing this 20 years, and I'm writing notes from these I don't even know how much younger y'all are. I think I'm twice your age. So, but I'm in writing notes. I got a whole page of things about that. Was a great line. That was a great line. So I wanted to throw that in.
Chris, can I say something too? I mean, James and Becky, you hit on something that it's not a question of if someone's going to go through what you just experienced in growing a business here. It's when, it's when. And you both said two things, and I wrote it down. I want everybody to make sure that this is ingrained in you this morning. You said serve. Becky said serve. James said serve. When a storm's coming, or when you're in a storm, look to serve, and serve through a Zoom. Serve through, go do a 2-on-1. Go get with people. Go find a way to serve in the organization during a storm. And it reminds me of what my mentor said to me one time, James and Becky. He said, when one thing you can be sure of in a storm, you can go back biblically. Noah didn't build an ark preparing for a storm to save himself. He would have built a little smaller of a boat. He built the ark to serve others during the storm. And I would say it was a success for the people he served. And that's always stuck with me. And when I heard both of you this morning talk about serve, and then Becky said serve, and I'm like, if you're on here, if you're not in a storm right now, you'll find it at some point. Find ways to serve in the organization, and that will get you through that storm. So thank you, guys. That was super powerful, Coach.
I want to add something to what you
So
said.
powerful.
One thing I want to add to that, Brent said, he brought up Noah, and Becky and you and James both said people in your family, some people give you a hard time about the industry. If you ever wondered how difficult it had to be for Noah, I've always thought about his faith. Really, if there was ever a man of super faith, it's going to rain so much that there's not going to be, they had to be, I can't imagine a guy stopping by, how's that boat coming? And that's and I think some in our industry, Todd, I think you used to say that the coaches at your first job would say, they would make a popcorn party out of it. Hey, you got rich yet, coach? You got rich yet, coach? And people would say to me things different because I had been successful in another business. They say, when are you going to get in a real business again? So it doesn't matter whether it's Brent Palmer, and I see, and Eric, here's another thing. We're talking about plugging in. I think Aaron Decker, we would say, is pretty successful here. He and Dr. Ginger built a massive business. We all know who they are. What's he doing on Saturday morning? Plugging in.
Runs a weekly meeting at his ranch every week.
He does all the basic fundamentals, but he doesn't think he knows it all. He wanted to hear what y'all had to say today. He plugs in a lot, but I didn't know he was coming. Yet he's right. I see him.
A segue, Chris. And by the way, one thing you said there that I've watched for 20 years, when people are in the storm, when they stop showing up at meetings, or they stop doing 2-on-1s or coming to the weekly trainings, I know in my head, even no matter how much I love them, that the clock is on them. They're going to go away. The ones that get in the storm and you see them at everything, they may not be in the best spirit, but they're plugged in. They're getting their battery recharged. They always say the teacher learns more than the student. They're presenting still. They're the ones that always bounce back. So great comment there. But here's where we're going to end this. Let's now talk about the other side. Your chairperson won. You're making. You had a tremendous week. That's a lot of money by anybody's standard. But let's talk about your lifestyle now. You talked about driving a Bentley, and I don't even know what the name of that other car was. Your house. Let's talk about your lifestyle, your time freedom, able to be manipulate your time. Give us all the good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Going through that rags and then going back up to abundance, I think there's a different type of gratitude towards there. And I think what I love about our industry the most is that it affords options. It affords freedoms. And freedoms could be, we love fine dining. We love it's called Michelin star restaurants. So, really cool things that, the cool looking plates, taste good and everything. We love luxurious things, of course, but I think the biggest thing that we love is random afternoon dates on a weekday, because we have the time to do that. One of the biggest things that I learned is wealthy people, a lot of times they're wealthy because they can afford to do things when others cannot. So we went to this thing called Top Golf the other day. It's like a driving range, but they make it like a bowling alley. It's kind of fancy, and it's like $50 an hour normally for a lane, which is a lot of money. It's like, that's like a meal right there. But on a Tuesday afternoon, when everyone's at work, it's half off. And I don't know, maybe it's the Asian in us, we're just like, that's freaking nuts, get a deal right there. But that's what we love.
Network marketer special.
Exactly. But the ability to just say we can do what we want when we want it and want to with who we want. And that's what I love about our industry too. We bring our friends along with us as well too. We had with the chairperson level run, chairperson level 1 run, we had 7 other leaders of ours go to officer and above titles, actually. And we get excited about their paychecks more than our paychecks. There's people, I'm telling you this, and this is not an income state claim, but everyone here is partners, but in a week, they made more than their full-time jobs in a month. And we're just like, that's so freaking cool. Let's go do something together, But to be able to dream, to save, invest for the future. Now we're looking at buying our dream home. We want to start our family. We want to be, we love that we have the ability to, once we have a child, to actually be there and be present rather than just be the parents that are always at work. We can actually be with them and everything. But what do you think?
Yeah, honestly, that's big. And I think it's interesting, like when you're younger and it's your first time coming to money, you just want to buy everything, right? And I think now we're wiser. We're in our 30s, and after we had our experience, we're like, the cars are nice, but we're in a pandemic. Like I could literally count on my 10 fingers how many times I drove this last year, right? So I think it's just your mind starts to shift. I think in our first run, when we came to money, we were thinking more like, oh, we need to impress people, right? Like we need to show people that this business can do something. And now we're just we're so confident in our value, our system, what we can offer to people, that we don't need the thing to show people, and we just buy the things that we actually want, and you can actually start thinking about investing and planning for the future, planning for retirement, and being wise with our money. And I think that's the biggest thing we really would love to teach our organization because of our experience. Because I feel like in our marketing, a lot of people make a lot of money, but we don't know how to keep it, because honestly, the money's really good in our marketing because you can decide on how much money you make, right? Versus at a job, you have to plan, right? Because you're like, this is all I have. So I have to plan to save up for a vacation, to save up for retirement, to save up for college funds or whatever. But in network marketing, honestly, because we have unlimited income, there's no cap, people tend to not plan as much because the money is there, right? And I'm totally generalizing, but that's one thing we learned in our experience, where we feel like we didn't have that concept of planning ahead and investing and planning for retirement, because we feel like money's always going to be there, and then it didn't, and then we had our experience. So now we're a lot wiser. And I feel like just having that abundance and being able to feel like, wow, I don't have to look at the left, I can actually order food from the right side, from the left side of the menu rather than the right side of the menu, if you know what I mean, so just little things like that. And I think it makes that's true freedom. It's not the things you have, it's really the options,
So I love the wiser story, but can you just tell us, describe driving a Bentley for me? I've never driven one.
The way I describe a Bentley, it feels like you are in
a tank. Honestly, it's I just like to sit in it. I don't actually like driving it because it's so heavy. I feel like I'm doing a workout turning the wheel. And it's so heavy. It's 500 pounds or like,
No, it's
well,
like
no,
2
2
tons.
tons. Yeah, it's like something really
It's the
heavy.
smell. Todd, there's a certain smell to a Bentley.
The leather.
You get in there, you just feel rich. and it has like these suck-in doors, and the what it's made of is so solid, it like closes out the outside sound. It's almost like sound isolating. So you're in your own cocoon of ballerness, I guess, you know.
Is everybody just staring at you? You pass them, everybody just looking at you.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a fun experience.
So I want to add one thing that we didn't mention that I don't know if anybody's talked impact, but you mentioned how we've been some frustration going on in the past so many weeks. We all agree that one popped up over and over and over, probably about 300 times in the chat room over that. Yes, frustration. But I don't think anybody's really said anything about this. These guys promoted when other people, and I'm not going to call no names, but I see a bunch of my team members over here saying, well, I'm just kind of going to sit on the sidelines for the next few weeks till we get all these problems solved. And James and Becky Zheng didn't do that. They didn't let the problems of somebody else, let them have an excuse. And I'm going to use that word. I'm sorry, I'm probably going to irritate some people, but so many people will find a reason to have an excuse. It's always an excuse. It's either the company's fault. I've yet to find a single representative say, I'm just not willing to work so hard right now. I'm just not motivated right now. It's always the company's got a website. I'm using now, and we have had, don't get me wrong, there's been some frustration that's legit. But 2 years ago, what was the reason? 5 years ago, what was your excuse? And I see that, and I'm sorry, but folks, if you want to know what kills so many people in this business, they find an excuse. You talked about life's troubles, you talked about life's problems. We all have dealt with them. And we all deal with them. But the fact is, right here during when most people, if you want to know what impressed me the most is when I saw you guys promote, I will admit that I have been, Todd's like, I said, I'm just kind of watching this website. I haven't been doing that much personally, but you've just inspired me because it's like, you know what? That's just another excuse that we use to not to do. We're seeing level up behind Coach Palmer. That's just another excuse not to level up. It's just another excuse that we can use, and you guys have done it. What an amazing Zoom. I couldn't help myself. I just had to bring that up. Is the timing is so critical there. Coach Palmer, Coach Rowland, anything you want to finish with? I mean, it's been an amazing Zoom. I'm just pumped.
I'm only going to say that Ken Bailey reminded me about 2 weeks ago that our products are better than ever. On the East Coast, our shipping is 10 times better than ever. Our pay plan remains exactly the same. Rep services is getting better daily after the merger. Everything's improving there. All the elite lines and things are cleaning back up, and all the people are getting better trained. So, and then here's what Ken concluded. He said, marathoners win the race on the uphill part of the race. So when you hit the uphill part and you go chairperson one, when we get to the top and we all start coming back down with everything smooth, you're like, what the heck did James and Becky do? Well, they worked on the uphill, and it is uphill. We're not taking away the uphill part. They just actually worked on it instead of coasting while everybody else was not. But anyway, thanks for coming on, guys. Y'all are inspiring. I mean, you are from a distance, and you are in person.
It was a wow factor this morning. I mean, James, Becky, you really, really did something mentally to me, and I know everybody on here feels the same way. And I think I would leave with my part being this, listening to you this morning, and I know we're out of time, but going back to Noah, what NewAge is doing right now is they're going to save a lot of people. NewAge is going to save a lot of people. They're going to serve a lot of people with this company that they're preparing for. They're preparing the art right now. And there's been some 2x4s missing, and we've been out of stock on some nails and stuff as we prepared the art. But one thing's for certain, this art is going to get prepared. It's going to get built. And 5 years down the road, there's going to be people that's getting served because of this construction that's taking place. James and Becky, what you've inspired me this morning is I want to be the person in the ark. I get to have a choice right now. Will I be here in 5 years? And that's where I'm going, heck yes. I want to be in the ark. I want to be saving the people. And I want to see this thing through to the great experience it's going to be. So thank you for your time this morning. Chris, thanks for putting this on. This was great for me.
It's
Thank
great.
you so
I'm
much for
impressed.
having
Thank you so much again. We gotta promise you'll come back again.
Of course.
My phone is blowing up.
Chris,
Yeah,
very important. Amy Summers next Saturday, Mark Wilson the following Saturday. So the next 2 Saturdays are going to be jam-packed.
these Saturdays are becoming special every week. Thank you again for being on. We want to have you back soon. Looking forward to seeing you in Salt Lake City in about 3 weeks.
Can't wait to celebrate with the fam.
Yes.
As Anthony, if you can unmute all the lines for me, I don't have my switches going here, or maybe it is up to me. Unmute.
Love you guys. Grateful for you. You're awesome. You rock.